I would just say that both teams, they just need to maintain that composure. They can't afford to give the other team an inch. You start making mistakes, they're going to capitalize on it. These aren't, the lower bracket teams that got knocked out at the start of the tournament. If you get reckless and go too down, they're going to use that to collapse and rotate around the map. So holding your composure and not, rushing too much will be key to victory. But we do jump on board with Barcode. Absolute monster, already racking up his first kill. Does manage to grab that camo. Very sneaky boy, and we will have to see Barcode maybe have some patience here and really utilize that power up there. Does find Pips, gets the flank on him. Easy cleanup with the squad, and they're already racking up some points on the board, Hoots.
Yeah, and he took the option to, even while Camo sprinted around just to get to that kill and help his teammate. And that's those comps there where basically you know that you're safe to sprint and reveal yourself, but the priority is to get there and help your team secure that kill. So look, it's worth noting we're doing rounds here in Oddball now, so we obviously it's not a game type where it's just one way all the way through. We have rounds, and you have to have 2 rounds to get the W, but we see Barcode's already doing a bit of trash talk. He's 3 kills, no deaths so far. Make that 4. He's just running around the map at will, just laying down fire. And it appears like we're seeing a NUTRIBULLET set up down here in blue. So not an area where I typically thought you'd try and hold the ball, given that there is a lot of exposure there on that bend. But that's obviously the way they've taken it here. It's going to be interesting to see if they choose to hold it that whole way through.
Yeah, I guess that silo area does give you the opportunity to play ball if you need to, and then stop the other team from racking up points, which does look like that's what ended up happening. And NUTRIBULLET, they're already off to a 40-point lead. And I just want to circle back what you were talking about before with Oddballs having rounds now. I think that really creates opportunities for teams to bounce back. It's almost having like 2 games within a game, and you can really bounce back if you have a poor game 1. And it does look like Divine Mind are starting to put some points on the board. It's good to see.
Yeah, and we see that camo just not picked up there, but with the sword, Rated doing a bit of work, picking up the double. And I think it looks like we're going to have an Oddball held up near the top attic, which is an area that I've found through playing the ranked playlist that quite a lot of people tend to take it to. So we've got a camo and sword in the hands of Rated. He's taken down, so that's massive right now for NUTRIBULLET to nullify that camo. I'm unfortunately not able to do anything with it. Divine Mind, they've been in and around the ball a little bit, but haven't managed to put a huge amount of time on, just now knacking up those 19 seconds there, but 2 down for each. And we have the ball now in the hand of Prades, and he's going to look to hold it around this pipes area. A lot of cover. His team can take either side. There's only a couple of ways in there. But as we spoke about before, it's that grapple shot. That can be the one thing that changes everything. Players able to get up there quickly, get a back smack in, and try and break a setup.
Absolutely, and I love in Oddball watching the perspective of the ball holder, checking all of those angles, just trying to give themselves as much information as possible. You can't just hide in a corner and, wait for players to come to you. You've got to be prepared to rotate and move around and with your teammates. And they are starting to rack up some quite a sizable lead here for NUTRIBULLET. Not far off taking out this first round. And just great stuff to see. And Barcode, we can't stop talking about him, but he's already on 10 kills, Hoots. 11.
Make that 11. Make that 11. Not just that, only 2 deaths, so he's just running around like a madman and just out PRing. And he was willing to put a few shots into the dead body there as well. But you even saw how he just utilized that grapple hook and was flying around the map and putting shots in and strafing around, and it's just fantastic to see. But look, pretty one-sided there opening round, but as we spoke about before, the great thing about Oddball being in rounds is that you can cast that one aside, the game's not over, you've got a chance to set up again, and it's basically a full refresh. But we're going to head over here, stick with Barcode, why not? He's the one who's been the main slayer, just hanging around out in the open with camo, and once again, same as last round, he scores that camo off the start, and he chucks it in, and now he's fully camoed, able to run around and just be a bit of a sneaky beaver as he's doing the 2-shot beatdown. Unfortunately, doesn't get the kill with it, but cleans up on Pips, and he's just moving around the map so cleanly with his camo out in the open, before his shields even pop up, putting shots in. He's just playing without a care in the world.
Absolutely, and you touched on it again. Barcode going for that camo off the rip, and it does look like they've really been studying these maps and, what's our starting strats? Where are you going? Where are you going? And obviously it looks like Barcode is, you know, the steamroller that goes in for that camo, trying to get the burn. But he has managed to secure it both times, and now on board with him again, just looking for more and more slays, and not a lot of ball time so far, Hoots. It just seems to be a bit of a slay match, you know, a bit of a grudge match, you know, like, don't shoot me, I'll shoot you, and I'll teabag you, and I'll shoot your body, and not a lot of points on the board just yet.
Yeah, I think both teams seem to just be feeling each other out a little bit. You know, we're pretty much even. We've been playing this round for a minute or two now, and as you said, not much focus on the ball. I think it's mainly just because it's in a position right now where neither team really wants to hold it. It's not really in a spot that they think they can set up, and as we can see now, Madzi, with a few down, he's willing to grab that ball and start to move, and it looks like he's aiming for that blue setup again. So from what we can see, NUTRIBULLET aiming for blue, whereas Divine Mind, when they get it, trying to get up into that attic. We did see NUTRIBULLET at one point in the last round, once it was up there, were willing to stay there, but it seems if they do have the choice between the two, it's that blue where they're going to head.
Yeah, and just looking at the kills, they're very even so far, and the scoreline's very even, and it's good to see the Divine Mind bouncing back after that previous game, but it's not over just yet. And I think I did see that Mangler in Slay's back pocket. He does go down, jumping over to Raided. He's putting some nice shots there. Madzi finds him, though. Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that BR. Madzi with that camo as well. He could certainly create some opportunities for his team here, Hoots. And we do see the sword sitting there on its spawn, so I'd love to see that utilized, and it does look like Berserk's grabbed it. He decides to just dive off the map. It's like, I'm taking this sword with me, Hoots.
I don't mind it, though. It's a smart, and it's a great triple there with from Madzi with the camo, so he's really utilizing that perfectly. But I don't mind the whole idea of just chucking the power weapon off. You're right. It's if I can't have it, neither can you. And we see here, we're on battle with Madzi, 9 kills, leading the slaves for this round. Barcode, he's taken a bit of a backseat, but look at those assists, 9 assists. So he's putting in a heap of fire around the map to help his team. But Madzi, this has been a great run off utilizing that camo, picking up that triple. And you can see already NUTRIBULLET started to convert that into ball time. 3 people on respawn from Divine, just thanks to Madzi's work, means it's really hard for them to put any meaningful time together.
Absolutely, and I was just loving that Madzi gameplay there, just pre-firing all the little routes that his opponent could take. Now back on board with Seduce, haven't had much action from him, but he's on 6 kills already, and the scoreline's starting to bloat out just a little bit in favor of NUTRIBULLET. Not over just yet, but Divine Minds, they really need to clean up their act if they don't want to drop this first game, Hoots.
No, absolutely. On board with Raided now, just seeing if he can make a few moves. Not a huge amount of kills or assists, but unfortunately, he's dropped, and back onto Barcode. He's actually started to run ball now, so he's moved on to objective. But look at those assists still, 9, putting in a lot of shots, and now he's just holding the ball here, and they're only 20 seconds off taking this first game. Interesting point holding here rather than actually heading into that attic, just holding on this ball. Nades coming in everywhere. Manages to pretty much jump over one and get a nade off, but unfortunately he's taken down, Raided with the ball, and it looks like he's just going to try and clear out of there. Or in fact, it looks like he's going to hold. So he does have to be careful, though. He has quite a few NUTRIBULLET players coming at him from several angles. He's actually going to back off and leave the ball, which is smart, just try and stay alive. But unfortunately, the sheer weight of numbers, Seduce is going to come in and drop him. And NUTRIBULLET's going to look to just try and get away with this ball. Nice double from Seduce, and all they need is 10 more seconds. So Seduce probably going to take down Pips here, and then unfortunately he's dropped. So maybe Divine taking the ball blue and trying to give, I guess, NUTRIBULLET a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, Slayers with a double kill there, Hoots. Really using that clamber to utilize his cover, and takes down Barcode. Amazing use of the map geometry there from Slays, putting in a lot of kills for his team. And I'd like to just highlight Slays for a second here on the double digits for his squad. Now on board with Madzi as he tries to find a kill. Does go down, and Seduce with that ball, you can see him clambering around there, trying to rack up points for his team. He's just going to scrape together those final points, and they're going to take game 1, Hoots.
Yeah, it was unfortunately all 4 dead at the end there for Divine Mind. Not much you can do when the other team only needs a few more seconds of ball time. So great way to wrap that up. That's the first game done, but it was pretty comprehensive, both slaying and objective. They just really couldn't get into it, Divine Mind, unfortunately. So they'll be looking forward to taking the opportunity for the next game to try and peg one back.
Absolutely, and I think it boils down a little bit to those rotations. I feel NUTRIBULLET was able to move the ball around the map a little bit more fluidly and rack up those points, while Divine Mind is a little bit more scrappy, you know, just string together 5 or so seconds there and end up losing the ball. So round 1, goes to NUTRIBULLET, but I wouldn't count Divine Minds out just yet. They're just as hungry. And highlighting some of the stats here, 20 bomb for Barco.